And welcome to the Now Debate. This is going to be uploaded today in place of our scheduled video due to some issues with me not being able to get a video up on time, so I apologise to you guys for that. But the next episode, episode 35 of Paranormal Evidence Archives, will be available next week. I am here once again with the captain of our respected ship, Mr. Richard Oliver, amongst a sock, I think. I just found a random sock. So, Rich, how are you?
I'm right, bad.
Yeah? Very quiet in the paranormal field as of late.
Most of the stuff seems to be at the moment is more UFO based.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, like in regards to sightings and stuff happening and things like that.
UFOlogy being in the public domain.
Yeah. So I think it's more to do with that. Spiritually, I think it's sort of like it's going to add a bit of a plateau on the paranormal side, the ghosts and stuff like that. Like.
Yeah.
So I think I think more people are just I think it's the way the world's going on, isn't it? At the moment, with all the news happening, with all these meteorites and God knows what else, and I think people are just sort of drawn more to
lights in the sky.
Yeah.
Aliens talking to you over a speaker.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, our Now Investigations 10, where we're going to be focusing on amongst other things, crop circles tomorrow night, will be broadcast from 8:30, and we will be doing the live stream in two parts. The first part will actually be a live stream. The second part will be a recorded video which will be added to the channel shortly after, either late Saturday or early Sunday, which will be the second half, and we're going to go out and we're going to see if we can have any different responses if we're actually on location. We're just going to go to the top of a mountain and we're going to see what happens if we do it there.
Yeah.
Because we want to see if we're outside, if there's any physical signs that they can give us, or if there's any other sort of activity that they can produce, or anything else like that. But we are slowly now going through the responses for the past 9 live streams. We are not far now from completing a document which will be we're not entirely sure what to do with it yet. We're thinking of probably putting some of it online as articles. Eventually it'll probably be some sort of book or some sort of readable material, because I think we should do a physical version of it as well.
Yeah,
definitely. So we'll have the articles and go out online, and obviously in the book can come. That'll be kind of the way of doing it, and obviously we'll have videos as well which will demonstrate it visually, and you'll be to look back over it. And the other thing that we have seen on the channel recently, which has been quite encouraging, has been people leaving some brilliant comments. Actually going through the responses themselves, telling us what they think it says. So it's been quite a good thing. We're going to have a little bit of a shameless plug, but if anyone is listening to this, find a video that you like on our channel and give it a share, because it does help us out. It helps us out a lot. And part of the frustration that we have is we've been given this information and we want to get it out there. We want to get it out to people so people can see it.
Yeah.
So just by you sharing that, we don't make any money out of it. We don't, we're far too small to be monetized. Actually, we're going to be demonetized as of the 20th of February because of YouTube's new regulations. We're doing it because
need to get it up there, basically.
Yeah, we're doing it because we. Do you know what? These days, I don't know why I'm doing it. It feels like we're compelled to do it. It feels like this information just needs to be heard. And I think, we'll find, hopefully, that, we don't know where it's going to go. We literally are at a loss when we're looking at some of this information. And especially when it's talking about me.
It must be important for us to feel the way we do. And for us to, continue to try to get it out there.
Well, everything seems to be pointing to May. Now, I don't know whether it's something that's going to happen to us. Like, it could, you could interpret it in a way as something that could happen around just us. Do you know what I mean? It's a date for us particularly. Or you could interpret it could be something for mankind. I don't know. This is the thing. I'm very, very careful about spreading doomsday philosophies and all the rest of it, because you get all these dates that come in, and 9 times out of 10 they don't mean anything. Well, we're still here, so they don't mean anything. At least that's the feeling or sentiment within the public domain. Within when we get feedback from you. People don't really like doomsday philosophies and all the rest of it, take much notice of it. What is it that's so significant? Because we've just gone through the second one. We did this over a year ago. We're going back through the responses of that, and that still says a year from now, which will be May.
Yeah, which will be May. May the 20th. May the
26th.
Yeah.
May 8th is the significant date that we've been poised to. So, perhaps it could be the fact, it could be that. It's it's something only time will tell. It's something only time will tell. And, if there is something significant that happens in May, then obviously at least we can say that, the information was there.
Yeah.
And, so...
yeah, we were given it.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts and feelings? Because I've recently read you some of the Now 2 stuff.
I still don't know. I mean, since we've done the first one, I'm still not sure. I'm still not. It feels like there's something, right? It feels like we've been given something. But like I've said since the beginning, I don't think it's just us getting it.
No.
I just think it's because of the nature of what we're doing. It's just an opportunity for them to come through and speak to us.
Yeah.
And give us this message. And we've had personal
Although they
messages.
do seem to have a personal link with us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. We've had personal messages. We've had predictions. We've had things for the future, things from the past. We've had things to research. We've had coordinates, dates, times. So we've had so much information, and I don't think
we've even scratched and we have had one that seems to be a complete and utter dud. We've had one of the live streams which we've now transcribed, and it doesn't seem to make any sense at all.
Well, we're still looking into it. Like I said, we post it out there and get people to interpret it, because there's bound to be people out there that got the time and the patience, and might be interested in just looking into it and seeing what they find in it. If there's a pattern, if there could be something in there. I mean, there's so many. Because they said they would change. They did say that it would evolve.
Yes, it says after the 7th.
Yeah.
Which this was the 8th.
Yeah.
So
after that.
And obviously then the next one we did was in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
So this is the first one we're doing now since we had that break, and obviously it's come on our cases.
Yeah, it did say it would evolve and change, didn't it? Because we asked it.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's what it is, and we just haven't worked out how to interpret it. I mean, because
I think you're getting stuff from Spirit there as well, so I wouldn't be surprised. At one point in the 8th investigation, and we are going to translate this into video form. These videos are painstaking, guys, because literally you've got to look at every word this damn thing says. Now, you think of a conversation that maybe you have with your friends. Try and go back and transcribe that conversation word for word, what it's telling you. Or it's very difficult, and to try and present that in a way that people can understand. And I can make sense of it, but I've done 5, 6, 7 years of research in order to understand it, and I've not scratched the surface. You've done, 15, 20 years of research.
Yeah.
And this is the difficult thing. It's the fact of putting it into a format that is digestible for people. And you look at the documentary we did, UFOs and the Bible Code. The actual wealth of stuff that I read on that was about 15 pages of A4, and I left probably about the same amount out. That I could have gone deeper into it still.
Yeah.
There's other things that would have pointed to it beyond.
The problem is, from the evidence we've had, we have had confirmation of things, right, on different cases now. that we are being communicated by beings, but you have to go back and believe. You have to believe they're there anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not so much just believing in there's something in the message, it's believing in it at all. You can't just believe in the message, you've got to believe there's ETs, you've got to believe in all these other things that's coming out there.
Yeah.
Is there different ETs? Is there beings? What are they doing? Are they controlling the world? Are they doing this? Are they do? It's just such a wormhole. You can't just look at it in one perspective. You've got to look at the whole picture. And I think that's part of the message we're getting.
Yeah.
You can't just believe in the message, you've got to believe in it all. It's a bit of a doozy, look.
It's like on number 6, when we were doing these responses back on previous Now debates. Number 6, that when we actually heard them clearly in the room say Council of 12, and you kind of put those pieces together. When we've gone back over the old footage, now 2, for example, was left. The reason now 2 was left is because there was some stuff coming through that was happening then. There was a lot of stuff about the terrorist attacks in Manchester. There was a lot of stuff about the ones that happened in London. There was a few, and it was a bit on the nose, so we didn't really want to sort of focus in on that one. Yeah. And this is why I've kind of gone back to Now Investigations 2. And it says Council of 12 in that. Now Investigation 1 was 5 hours, so I did some of the transcription for it, quite a bit of the transcription for it. Yeah. But in the bit that I missed towards the end, where we kind of thought things had petered off, it actually does mention Council of 12 in that, and it's clear. Again, they're clear responses. It's not like something that sounds a little bit like it. There is no doubt about it. What that is actually saying is Council of 12. So there's more and more information now. What we need to do now, or what we're going to do, is we're going to start putting that information into categories. So what have they said about us personally? What have they said about the experience Sam had 4 years ago? Yeah. The abduction experience, because they've mentioned that on at least 4 live streams. Yeah. What have they said about you? What are they saying about the world? What are they saying about themselves? What information are we getting, which is spirit? Because we've had a lot of information which is just spirit. It's not nothing to do with the ETs or whatever. There's spirit giving messages, which I think what number 8 could be. And I did have a sense of that I think a lot of what we will get out of number 8 will be the fact it's spirit messages. And actual personal messages for people. Because one of the things that keeps reoccurring in that particular live stream is names. So one thing we might do is try and release a sequence of videos and call it, is it now messages or something? Is this message for you? And then sort of look at whether or not, people can take those messages personally. Like one of them was, I think, a Philip who died without a helmet. And it's all men's names. There's very few women's names. So it sounds like whether possibly you could have it could be a motorcycle accident. It could be.
You'd have to look at the people who was. Can we look back at the people who was watching the live stream at the time?
Well, that's one of the things we could do, obviously, through our social media and sort of discuss and find it that way to see if anyone does know. But the other thing to do would be to try and research and cross-reference the names. Because once you get into researching it, it's like one of the things that, what was the ones in Now 6, it said, in a place like Israel, Bartholomew comes, good news for the climbing, what will they think of next? Yeah. Now, I had absolutely no idea what that means, but when you actually look at the first meeting between the Pope and economical patriarch Bartholomew II, I believe, which I think that's right, who is the leader of the Orthodox Church. They had the first meeting in 50 years with the Pope in Israel. Now they're the best buddies. And this is amongst of stuff like talking about the Bible, talking about Christianity, talking about this sort of stuff. I'm not a Christian. I will tell you this now. I am not a Christian. There's stuff in there. There's stuff in the first one that talks about different deities. And when we ask who's coming through, it says deities. So it feels. To be honest with you, sometimes it it feels like you're a part of something, or almost like as if someone knows you've done something but you haven't done it yet. Do you ever get that sort of vibe?
Yeah.
It's like they know something and you think, part of you could think to yourself, well, what is it I could possibly have done or would possibly do?
Yeah.
Not being funny where no one's special.
No, but I think, I mean, if you look at the world, right, if you look at the world in general, right, you wouldn't give it to anybody of any standing, right?
Right.
Because I don't think they'd give the information out the same way.
Richard just had an email.
Yeah. You wouldn't give it to anybody like in authority. Same thing. So, if you look at the world in general, right, we are probably the people they would give it to, because we are looking into the paranormal. We live in the paranormal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're researching it, living it. So, I think that's the reason why, because we've actually not gone, oh, what a load of shit, and turned it off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We've kept going. We kept finding out more and kept looking and going, what's this about? Like, why are they saying this? Who's this? What's going on? And we have probed and we've tried and we had to get responses and tried to get answers, and some of the answers have been fake.
Some of them are, but some of them are direct responses.
Yeah,
you know,
so,
yes, no's. When we're asking these questions, and it's coming up on cases when we're doing investigations. So we did one in Abergavenny, and that was an interesting conversation, trying to talk to that reporter for the Abergavenny Chronicle, and we're going to do a video for them, and that is going to be in there, and that's going to be what it says. And it's like, well, you know, you just got to follow your gut feeling at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, it came through during that investigation.
Yeah.
Same with the Griffin Inn.
Yeah.
You know, that bunch of predictions that come through on the Griffin Inn one, that was, you know, that was something again. I'm sure there's other cases. I don't know if they come through in the one that was actually coming out now, the one that we did in Cardiff. You know, there's a few cases that we've done sort of recently where I know something's come through. I can feel it, like.
Yeah.
I can feel that something has come through, and there's information that we've missed. Because it's just obviously when you're working on cases or you're doing other things, you don't really want to be focusing on that.
Well, yeah, I know, it's just the thing, you know. I mean, we like I said, we're going to keep persevering with it. I mean, we're not going to just give it up. Like, thing is though, but I think this is, I don't know if you feel the same, Jab, because you feel like, who's it going to? You said this to me earlier, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like, how are you getting it out there? Who's it going to? You know what I mean? But the thing is, right, if you look at the responses, some of the messages we've got, right, and we don't want to go down the doomy gloomy road, but if you look at the world and you take out all the supernatural, paranormal, UFO, all of it, take it out, right?
Yeah.
Check it away.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody says, oh, it's all bullshit. Right? Is the world in a state?
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Are our governments corrupt?
Yes.
Right? Are people getting really shitty towards each other?
Yes.
Right? Did I say pollution?
No.
Right? Pollution. Is the world really polluted? Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Our medical facilities are getting more and more corrupt. Our police state, everything we have that is within footsteps of our lives is becoming tainted.
Yeah.
Right? So you take all the paranormal, all of it, chuck it away, right? Get rid of it, right? There's still something wrong with the world.
Yeah.
And this message is saying that is the case.
Yeah.
So, whether it be from any source, whatever the source, the message is still the same. There's still truth in it.
Yes.
There's truth in the message.
Yes.
So we can take away who it is and what it is and where it is coming from, and then we can say it doesn't matter, the truth is in the message.
Yeah.
So that's what's sort of keeping us going. But it's obviously getting the truth out there, isn't it?
Well, one of the things that we're going to be doing, and I'm going to set this up at the same time, and we're just going to, what should we call it? We want to set up a small community on Facebook, and we want to reach out to people that have been having, because we've tried reaching out to people who investigate UFOs, right?
Yeah.
Or investigate alien contactees and stuff like this. So one of the things that we've talked about doing, and maybe this is kind of one of the things that we can use this particular now debate, because it's now developed from beyond what we were going to do in the first place, which we can still talk about it. But I whether or not we continue, well, let's just see where it goes, this conversation, because we're here now, is setting up a group on Facebook for people that have had direct experiences, have had contact with extraterrestrials, setting up a group on Facebook so we can get the discussions going. I think that would be a good move.
Yeah.
Right? Of setting up a group on Facebook, we will call it, what should we call it? Do you want to keep it as Paranormal Now, or
what do we call it?
what about the Paranormal Now contactee support and discussions group? Alien contactee support group. Or discussion group.
Yeah, okay.
I tell you what, let's drop the Paranormal Now. Just have it as Alien Contactee Support and Discussion Group. It is. How's about that?
Yeah.
And we talk about different things, share information. So if you guys have a look at that, we're going to call it the Alien Contactee Support and Discussion Group. And we're going to have a quick. We're going to set that up as part of our Facebook page and presence. So we'll link it to Paranormal Now, right?
Yeah.
But it's not going to be directly sort of thing by Paranormal Now, if that makes sense. But I think in there we can then start to talk with people maybe who've had similar experiences and try and get a sense of maybe what's happening. Because if there are other people around the world that are doing this, let's find them. Let's set up a place for them to come to us rather than us to go to them.
Yeah.
Because you're not being funny, you've got these people that are... give you an example. Someone like Simon Parks, right? Now, irregardless of whether you believe Simon's story or not, I agree with some of the stuff he says. I don't agree with all of it. That's my personal prerogative. But he has created a forum for people to ask him questions, and he has answered our questions, and he has said that he's willing to talk to us. But he's one guy. And I know for a fact, when we had a following of 17,000 people, I was dealing with 300 emails a day.
Yeah.
So creating a forum where people can actually discuss and talk about this and sort of like give their experiences of what I think will actually help our research greatly. And I think that, you know, when we're able and willing to put things into the public sort of domain and sort of let people have a look at it for themselves, then, like, you know, perhaps that group could be a nice little port of call. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to get it out there. We need to get some more information off people who's in it.
And I think if we can offer something, as well as trying to sort of like, you know, can you help us? Perhaps we can offer something, because obviously with all the expertise we've done as investigators, we know quite a lot of different things, and perhaps we can help each other. So it's Alien Contactee Discussion Group. And we're going to we've actually set it up. We took a slight break. You wouldn't have noticed because we've done it in we've the magic of editing. We've just made sure to set it up so it's there on Facebook if you hear it. So today's topic is going to be the flat Earth
and Hollow Earth.
And Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I know a little bit about the flat Earth theory. To be perfectly honest, I have looked into it. How on earth this is a thing, I don't know. I've scratched my head with it. I've got to be honest. But do you want to give us a little bit of an introduction and set us this discussion off? Because
I've looked into it, right, and I think it's a thing. Right.
You don't think. No. Hear
me out. Right. Now, I think the reason that people are thinking this way is because there is things set in place, right, to make you go down that road, right, to the fact there's, you know, I mean, you've seen the videos, you've got the maps are wrong, right, with the globe, right, you've got NASA are faking footage, which have come up and proven, you've got like people that are saying this, they've been to this part of the world and they haven't been to that part of the world, and the travel system, and GPS is another one, how the way GPS works and different things. And I think what's happened is, right, it's like a conspiracy inside a conspiracy.
It's a psyop, basically.
Well, the thing is, if you look at the evidence, right, you can give, there's so many arguments for, and there's so many arguments against. Now, when something does that, like in all the research I've done, right, there's credence in it, there's something in it.
Doesn't necessarily mean the Earth is flat.
It doesn't necessarily mean the Earth is flat, but it just means
there's something in it that is kind of planting a lie inside the truth.
Yeah, because the only reason you know the Earth is round is because you've been told the Earth is round. You've never seen the Earth from outer space, right? Never seen the curve of the Earth. You've just been told, right? Now that is like, it's like being told this God, right? You've just been told this God, right? People can tell you about miracles and different things, but you've never seen God, but somewhere inside you just believe. So it's the same principle. Now, we've looked into, like, there's quite a few people out there, like you've got Mark Alessi, and we used to, back in the day, we used to talk to a group of people, and it was like a global group, and they were people that looked into things, like they had psychic kids, they had indigo children, star children, who were part of this group, right? And what kept coming up was quarantine, right? Now, quarantine, I think, is where these people are getting this dome idea from, and this, like, where it says in the Bible, the firmament, right? And where these, like, there's a chap out there that has been videoing the moon for 5 years, right? And every so many years, at exactly the same date, he picks up this glitch, right? This alter wave that goes across the face of the moon. Now, all that, when people watch all this, right, it's sort of like, well, I've read this, I've seen that, they're saying this, they're saying that, and it sort of builds a picture, doesn't it? Right? Like any conspiracy, it builds a picture in your mind, and then you look at something else, that builds a picture, and then all that picture leads to, like, it's a puzzle, so you put all the pieces together, and it leads to a flat Earth, right? So there's something, the fact that it is a flat Earth means there are things that are being kept from us and put in place to make us go down that road. And it's like, it's misinterpreted, but there's got to be something in it. There's got to be something in it. There's genuinely a reason why they're thinking that this is happening and this is the way it is.
Going back to about 2015, the flat Earth seemed to come out of nowhere. There was basically a friend of mine basically brought it to my attention, and he was doing it in a kind of a joking way, and we were laughing about it. There's people that believe the Earth is flat, and you kind of okay, this is just so ludicrous that it's actually, and you're talking to a guy who talks to aliens through a box, so I can understand. But then it just exploded, and like I can understand it with the Mandela effect to a point, right? Because I actually thought they were connected, because back in the days when I thought that the Mandela effect was a psyop, right, and I thought it had maybe, it was some way of sort of misdirecting people, but I can understand why there was such a surge in it. But around about 2015, there was this massive surge about the flat Earth. Everyone and his father and mother were talking about it. Mainstream people on YouTube, and it got the attention of even mainstream media or even just mainstream television. It would get mentioned somewhere. It had that kind of sort of notoriety about it. Now, what I found quite suspicious is just how quick it grew, because literally it was a case of like maybe a month before this suddenly suddenly everyone was a flat earther, or everyone had something to say or weigh in on the flat Earth.
I know.
And you had
X-Files do a big thing on it?
No, the X-Files didn't do flat Earth. They weren't around at that point. The X-Files didn't come back till 2016. They did. When did the X-Files? Skyquakes and stuff like that. But no, the X-Files didn't explore flat Earth.
Oh, it must have been in the new series then. Was it they explored it?
No. I've watched every X-Files episode, but
oh, because it on about. I seen one where they're talking about the map and how it doesn't fit and everything. And
well, this is the thing, because we've if you do put all the satellite images together of Earth, then there are places that don't quite apparently don't quite match up or something around that sort of. So as you said, there's something, obviously there's something in what people are finding, but I also feel that a lot of this is down to people not knowing certain things. Like I'll give you an example, the GPS. You mentioned about the GPS, right? Well, the GPS is basically, it's the fact the GPS is off by about a couple of seconds or a couple of degrees, right? The reason that is it's basically relativity. It's how it's to do with, how do I explain this now? It's mass and the way that a larger object will travel through time slower. So the Earth, if you experience time out of space, you're actually 6 seconds behind anyone on Earth, because time, gravity, mass, etc. are all relative, and that's basically the sort of science behind it.
Yeah, no, but I was on about the one where you can use a triangle with a GPS.
Right.
You just have to have 3 points and you're in between them.
Right.
And it triangulates your coordinates.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how GPS works. That's how, if you went to university, that's how they tell you GPS works.
Right.
So anybody, we know one person in particular, won't mention no names, did like a little course in that, like radio waves and this and that and GPS, and that's what he was told. The guy, the tutor, told him that you don't need a satellite. Right? This stuff was out a long time ago, and it's just used as a triangulation. So you need 3 points of access to tell you your location. Right? So
why are we told in mainstream then that, so you can understand where, if that was someone is being told at a lecture at university level. Now I had the same thing when I was in university. My media studies. I was doing a lecture about the sort of theory behind media and journalism and that sort of thing, and the lecturer would tell us that the media is being used to dumb people down, and this is something that he said that people won't even be able to understand basic things in the coming years because of the way this is going, and the way, the kind of culture of fear that's being produced by sort of 24-hour news, which back in 2001 was relatively new. We didn't, I think it was like 1997 or 90, sort of like the late 90s. You started having in the UK 24-hour on the clock news coverage and sort of this reality cheap made television and stuff. And he's pretty much predicted the future. So when you are sort of given this stuff in university which contradicts what's in the public domain, like I suppose if that's what he's being told, why do we use satellites for GPS then? Is it more accurate, or is it?
Well, apparently you just don't need it. This is what I mean. I mean, I'm not that way technically way inclined. It's just the evidence is there that to use a GPS you just need a triangulation. You don't need a satellite. That's how GPS works. It triangulates your coordinates between 3 points. So there's things like that. When you go down, this is what I'm saying with the flat Earth theory. When you go down these roads and they're giving you questions, the answer, do you know what I mean, seems impossible. I mean, it's just like this thing where these flat earthers believe we're in some sort of like colony zoo thing, right? And the way we, and you look at it and you think, well, it's pretty difficult to prove otherwise.
Well, let's explain the flat Earth theory for anyone who is coming into this and doesn't know anything much about it. So the flat Earth theory basically is that the Earth is indeed flat and not a globe. That this globe is essentially part of a flat plane. Am I right in saying this? This is how I understand it. So if I am wrong, please correct me in the comments down below. I am sure we're going to offend and piss off a couple of flat earthers with this broadcast, because, be honest, this is the thing that gets me about it. Having any form of civil discussion with these people is like absolutely, you haven't got a chance. To actually sit down and say, right, but why do you believe this? Why do you believe that? And have an actual debate about it without someone throwing their dolls out of the plan, pissing all over the walls and thinking that, you are the most pathetic thing that life has ever spawned. Then if anyone else is not like that and actually can keep a calm, collected temper and possibly clearly and concisely explain things to us in a language that the common guy can understand, then god damn it, I will have them on this show.
But I've just got to thing there, every person I've ever spoke to,
right,
who obviously doesn't believe in the flat earth, has exactly the same attitude towards flat earthers.
Well, no, I've tried and speak to because I want to know what it's all about. I want to know what it's all about. I want to know why these people believe what they do. I want to know what is it I'm missing. Do you know what I mean? What is it that I believe in some pretty crazy ass things.
Yeah.
Because the reason is because a lot of the stuff that they do point to, there is a need to explain some of it. There is a need to explain some of it. So even if I can't agree with a person that the Earth is flat, some of the evidence, as you said, is quite undeniable. So I can kind of understand, in a sense, it's one of those things that kind of psychologically has like an effect on you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It
Sorry,
can
can I stop you a second?
Yeah.
You're shaking your legs, but I can see it happening on the mic.
Oh,
I don't know if it's going to come because your legs are quite close to that. I don't know if it's going to come up as a sound, like.
Oh, right.
Just so you know.
Yeah, that's me fiddling. I tend to fidget when I'm recording these podcasts.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I tend to find that this is, it's very hard to actually have these kinds of discussion. But from what I understand, there's a dome under that goes over the top of the Earth. The sun and moon are actually underneath the dome, and they travel around each other. And the Earth is actually surrounded by a wall of ice.
Yeah.
And beyond that could be other versions of Earth or other planes or whatever. But there's one question I really want to know. If that's the case, and the Earth is just sort of floating there or just there, what's underneath?
Yeah.
Because obviously you can dig down into the ground. You can dig down pretty damn far. So is there like an underneath?
Apparently, yeah. It's sort of like basically like a thick platform, like a 5 to 10 mile thick platform. Because I mean the deepest.
It doesn't. To me though, it doesn't see like any. So all the stars you see are basically a projection.
Basically, yeah. It's just a holographic image.
Yeah, I this is the thing. See, you either click with it or you just seem it's. So what if that was true? Then where are we getting these messages from? Because that would be there's no such thing as aliens.
Well, it would. It means more that there's aliens.
Why does it mean more there's aliens?
Well, because if that's the case, if the Earth was this is the sort of point I want to get with. The Earth is flat, right? And that's the case within the dome.
Right.
The sun is man-made, the moon is man-made, the stars are man-made. Everything we believe in our lives is man-made. Well, we say man, but not like in a biblical sense. So the universe was just born from the Big Bang, right? Yeah. Then something created that for a really weird purpose, right? It wouldn't be to keep us safe because we know about it. Something loved us and genuinely cared for us. It wouldn't keep an information like that from us. You wouldn't. No. Anything you cared about, you love, you don't. You don't lie to them, right? So there's definitely a negative force behind it.
Well, people do lie if they lie, but they lie for people lie for.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Everyone lies.
That's a big lie, though.
Yeah.
The place you dwell and your reality is an illusion. That's a big lie.
But I suppose you could look at it in the sense of, do you tell your dog he's a prisoner?
Well,
because you could look at it in that sense. If you keep a domesticated dog, right, you can make that dog as comfy and happy as possible, but he still can't go out that door and have a walk around unless he's got a lead on him. Hell, you've got things that enforce that reality. So that dog is still essentially a prisoner. I love my dogs to bits, right? I love my Christ. You guys, anyone who's followed me on my channel or personal social media will know that I love my dogs probably like my children. They are like my children, I suppose, right? Those dogs get a hell of a life.
Yeah.
But I'm not being funny, that dog is still a prisoner in my home because he can't go out. It doesn't have the freedom to go out and do whatever the hell it wants. If my dog wants to go out and shit in the middle of the road, then it can't do that.
Yeah.
But so is that that's that you're sort of getting in. this is the thing I find that was quite interesting with the flat Earth, is it touches something philosophical.
It does. The reasoning behind it, right? The big picture. That's what they keep saying. They're trying to prove it, this, that, and the other. But it's what would be the reason for there to be a flat Earth?
Yeah.
That's where it gets a bit out of control. That's where it gets a bit dark and sinister. For me,
yeah.
Right? But
what does it matter? That was the question that most people
well,
would
it
say.
matters a lot.
Well, okay, most people will say, well, it doesn't really matter to people's day-to-day lives, but what does it matter if the Earth is round, square, dodecahedron, octagon? You know, what does it matter?
I think the lie matters in regards to the flat Earth. The lie, that's what matters. Why would that be such everything to keep a secret? But why would there need to be a lie over it? And I think that's what drives people, because we all know, right, and people who are listening to this genuinely know in their hearts the world is a really weird place, and there's some weird rules set in place, right, that govern us, right, because we're slaves, right, whether we like it or not, to a system.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is you're searching for the lie, you know.
Yeah.
And there's so many lies.
But I think that it's more likely, personally, that this is a misdirection. I think it's more likely this is something.
I've said this
where there have been several truths.
Yeah.
And we finish. I let you speak. There's been so many things coming out and truths coming to the surface. I think this is a misdirection. When someone comes out and talks about sort of VIP paedophilia, or they talk about ufology, or they talk about the paranormal, they say, "Oh, I bet you believe the Earth is flat too." So I think it's a bit like. And we know that people have done this before. The actual term conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorist is a term invented by the CIA basically to undermine anyone who went up against the Kennedy assassination. So you were saying, I do apologise.
No, yeah, I've lost my train of thought now.
Do you believe it could be a psyop? That's what I was asking you.
Yeah, no, I think basically the fact that there is a flat Earth conspiracy says more for the world we live in than the fact it's not. Right? You know, like you said, it's a psyop, it's a misdirection.
Yeah.
I think, there's part of me thinks, yeah, there's a lot to do with it as a misdirection, but there's a lot to do with it. The reasons why people go down that road says a lot for the world. There's so many things they're being lied about all the time, and it leads you somewhere. It takes you. It does. I know someone who's very staunch, and he's gone down that road. He's really convinced that the Earth is flat, and we're all being lied to, and we're in a big zoo, and we're just being used as it's like a giant cattle market, basically.
Well, we were talking about the new show that we're going to be starting shortly called The Awakening Now, and I think that this person, he is who I am talking about, is someone that has expressed an interest in coming on. Would he be willing to talk about that? Because that would be an excellent.
Yeah.
Because I know he looks into this sort of stuff, and I'd like to know his take on it.
Yeah.
And if he's able to have that discussion without sort of.
Yeah. I've been very honest and open with this person and discussing the flat Earth, and I probably 3 or 4 times I've given an argument that there is no argument in regards to the flat Earth for.
Yeah.
But the arguments for are quite astounding. Like, they really are astounding. And they make you sort of
Not the ones I've seen on YouTube and stuff. Most of them are just people that don't really know any better and know nothing about how, how distance and the curvature of the Earth works.
Yeah.
Like the ship on the horizon thing is ridiculous. I find that quite silly. There's certain ones that can be just disproved like that.
Yeah.
But what is the most if someone said to you, what is the most compelling evidence you have seen for the flat Earth, what would you say it was?
Ooh. Well, I haven't, because I don't believe the Earth is flat myself.
Right. Okay.
I don't. I believe that there's been a misconception.
Right.
And because one, I'll tell you the truth, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Because
I don't want to be honest.
No, because the consequences of that being true are dire. They're terrifying, right? For myself, I thought about it. What would be the reason for it? And the only conclusion I've come to
Why would if we're
because if we were being looked after, the world wouldn't be in such a bag of shit.
Right.
If we were being genuinely looked after, the world wouldn't be such a torrent bucket of shit. So there's only a dark reason for it. There's only a reason for people to die en masse, constantly.
But what does that have to do with the Earth being flat? Those reasons could still be here, regardless of the Earth is flat or not.
Yeah, they're still here regardless. But if the Earth was flat, that's what I'm saying. If the Earth was flat, there's a bigger system of control
than we realise.
Yeah, do you get me?
It's almost insurmountable then.
Yeah, that would mean that there is a genuine grand control over us, right? I'm not saying there isn't globally now, with the Earth being spherical. There is a mass control, right? But it's different. I don't know why. I find that hard to explain, but it's different knowing in general scientific terms.
Do you think that's the kind of the point of it? Because one of the things that I think what it's doing, it's creating a system where people are. Someone whisper in my ear by here, and someone keeps saying, if the Earth is flat, what are they going to do about it? What are they going to do about it? And I think the reason why, I don't know who it is that's actually giving me this information at the moment, but because I'm not actually working psychically at the moment, but the reason why I think they're asking that is because is it a point of these people are actually that demoralised by this realisation that they have come to, that they've actually got to a point of complacency or cognitive dissonance with it?
Well, I think they've looked at the evidence, and that's the
evidence. But what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it, is it? But I suppose it's just saying, when you awaken, you look for the truth.
Yeah. But why hasn't none of these flat earthers, because there's quite a few of them, who've got a little bit of fortune, gone on a boat and show me a picture of this wall of ice, or the rockets. Like the rockets are supposed to hit something. A lot of them are just failed rocket attempts. They failed rocket launches. We've got obviously you can understand when you've got, like we were talking about this earlier, right? You can understand when you perpetrate a lie.
The guy from NASA, he was sorry, just get it out because it's popped into my head. The guy from NASA that said there's only a certain point they can go to, and he was one of the big chiefs in NASA, and I've seen the video, the documentary. I can't remember his name. Do apologise, but when I watched that, and I watched it with the person who believes this, it kind of like I was like, I don't know why he said that. Basically, it's a video where this guy from NASA basically says they can't go into space. They can't. They can go to a certain height, and that's it. They can't leave, and that height is nothing compared to what you think space really is.
Right.
And basically, he says it. He actually says it on an interview, and he's one of the big top men of NASA, and the way he says it is so weird, and like you can see the reporters like a bit whoa, and he showed me sort of a clip of it, and I was like, I didn't know what to say about it, to be honest with you. I couldn't think of an argument for it, couldn't think of a reason he said it, like, and that was a bit, I found that very strange, and it's things like that I think are so profound that they lead people down this road. I'll have to try and get to give me the link.
Yeah,
and I can show you the video.
We'll put the link in the description below.
Yeah,
we'll find the video. We'll put the link in the description below. But this is quite this is quite an interesting debate, which I think we're going to have to bring to a close now very, very shortly. Unless there's anything else that you want to sort of add to it.
Alright, well, we didn't get to discuss the Hollow Earth theory, so we'll go into that for the next one.
Well, okay, we can have a little bit of a discussion about it now quickly if you like.
Oh, alright, okay. Let's that one, right? Now, I did quite a bit of research into the Arabian bird, right?
What's this now?
With Operation Hi Jump.
Right. We talked about Operation Hi Jump, and it's the now debate on our channel with the ice pyramids.
Yeah. I think there's something. I don't think personally that the entire Earth is hollow, right? But I do think there's massive, because I mean, science says there's more water in the Earth's crust than there is on the surface of it, right? So there's massive, huge chambers, right? Do I believe that Admiral Byrd did what he did and the experience he had? Yes, I do.
What is? Can you explain what that is?
Basically, he was
Admiral Byrd.
Basically, the Nazis were in Antarctica, and
during Second World War now.
Yeah, Second World War, and they tried to say it was like for natural resources.
Right.
Admiral Byrd was sent there for Operation Hi Jump, basically to try and colonize it, or basically it was an operation where they had to try and get there before the Germans did.
Right.
During World War II.
Right.
But the Germans had already been there, and they were given a ship by these people they encountered in Antarctica in this hollow earth.
Is this the Nazi Bell now?
No, this isn't the Nazi Bell. This is just a general UFO.
Right.
It was given to them by these people. And Admiral Byrd was flying over Antarctica. Something grabbed his ship, like some sort of tractor beam, pulled him in, and he met these people. And he was told this information, and he was said that they were going to keep out of it until it gets too bad. These people, they've lived there for God knows how many years, and they've lived there quite happily and comfortably. And it was Eden, basically. It was paradise. And but for some reason, the Nazis had acquired this UFO. They were out to borrow it, study it, and then they had to give it back. And do I believe in that story? Yes, I do.
Why is that?
It was just really compelling, the story is, the accounts of it, the pilot's accounts, Admiral Byrd's accounts, the military accounts of it. Well, the Nazis had their own account of it, that was discovered.
Yeah.
You know, their version of Operation Hi Jump on meeting these beings and taking this equipment. So it's such a tally to it. I think there is something in it. Because you've got places now. I seen this documentary where you had all these famous, really famous people, Spielberg, Robin Williams, loads of people went to this place with these lights going in and out of this mountain.
Yeah.
Right? They basically just fly in and out there all day. Right? You need not to get so close to it. Which I find bizarre.
What's stopping you?
I think it's something to do with the military, or it's because it's I don't know. I can't remember. I watched the documentary. Danny Dyers actually did a documentary on it. Where he went
Danny Dyers?
Danny Dyers is the actor that's been in a few like gangster films and that.
Right.
On EastEnders he is, and he went there. He done a documentary where he went to this mountain and saw this. Basically, these things coming in. So, you know, we've got the reports of what happened where they dug that tunnel and the agents were killed and they shot them.
Yeah.
But it all got out of control. Yeah. I do think there's something in the inner earth. I really do, because that tunnel they've just found out in some foreign country now that goes for like 500 miles. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, there's something. I genuinely believe in my heart there is something in it.
I can understand that, because obviously the Earth is what, like 5 billion or 4.5 billion years old.
Yeah. And
you're probably looking like, you know, the Homo sapiens were about 26,000 years old. You know, in mainstream sort of beliefs and stuff. So you're looking at about 4.5. It's still about 4.5 billion years where this planet could have been around, and goodness knows what else. And we know over time that different, you know, the land changes and moves and different things like that. And obviously we know about underground chasms and how water can make pathways and tunnels, etc. So I can kind of understand that. And obviously we don't know what's in our oceans. Christ, we don't know half of what's in our oceans. Yeah. I don't think we know we know a tenth of what's in our oceans. So I can kind of understand that to a degree. And I can kind of get the idea that the sort of hollow earth, and I can understand that, you know, like you look at things like the rake, for example. We had the legend of the rake, and they've actually had photos of the rake and you know, these sort of cryptos, these different creatures like the Mothman and stuff like that. You know, where people have had sightings of these things, and they live in forests. You know, that are you know, huge forests that you know we don't. We think that we know it all, and we don't know bloody bugger all about what's happening on our planet. Half the time. So I can kind of get that theory. I can kind of understand it. I can sort of work with that, but I suppose the reason why there's so much sort of we're bringing sort of in with the flat Earth. You know, there's something that there's not enough to convince me that the Earth is flat. And obviously it would take, you know, it would be a difficult one, I think, to actually try and convince us without having, at least with UFOs, you can see the pictures of UFOs. At least with the stuff that David Icke talks about, right, the reptilian stuff, right, I would not believe that unless I had direct experience with it. So I can kind of understand that for to a certain degree. So yeah, so I can kind of understand that to a certain degree, but it's still quite a stretch for me at the moment with the Earth being flat. But I can get the sort of hollow Earth sort of side of things. Like, you know, again, it's not for me to decide what other people believe. Only give my opinions. I personally find the flat Earth community horrific, but I'm open to have conversations about it, because at the end of the day, I want to know why these people believe what they believe, and what evidence they've uncovered might not necessarily, for me, support the Earth being flat, but they do support something which I find quite interesting.
Yeah, I find it very interesting.
Yeah,
I do. I sort of like, you know, like I said, there's a couple of things you can just dismiss, and there's some things you can't.
Yeah,
and maybe it's something we need more, you know, need to investigate more on.
We could have a look into it. We'll have a look into it. If
We'll
you
share
guys,
some links on
if you guys want to share some links in the comments below,
Yeah.
Honest to God, right? You know, I am open to an honest discussion. Anyone, whether you're for the flat Earth or against the flat Earth, anyone start getting abusive on the channel, on the comments, we will delete the comments. And if it does start getting abusive, we'll just disable comments for this video. We don't want to do that, because I know how hostile that community, whether you're for the flat Earth or not for the flat Earth, the discussion around this can be hostile, and I'm not being funny, it adds no credence. You know, I don't know many flat Earth channels. Honest to God, it is the culture surrounding it is absolutely a demonstration of how abysmal people can be to each other. Sorry, that's my experience about it. I don't want to on this channel, and neither do you.
No, I don't know.
So if you want to give us some information that you feel that is convincing evidence for the flat Earth, then please share it in the comments below. But just remember to be bloody civil, because you might not agree on certain things to someone else, but I'm sure there are certain things that you can agree on.
We have people from all backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
And we have for years, and we take everybody's opinion on board, and we take it on. And like I said, I've looked into the flat Earth theories and why people believe in it, and there is credence in it.
Yeah.
But we you know, that's what we are about. We would give everybody the opportunity to have their say, but as long as it's civil and it's respectful. So, you know, please keep that in mind. So.
We are now, I think this would be a good thing to end on, but before we do, we want to announce a new idea, a new show that's going to be coming to the channel very shortly. It's a show that's going to be called The Awakening Now. And what it's basically, it's going to be a series of interviews. Anyone can apply to be interviewed. When the website is set up, now there's a lot going on at the moment, guys. I'm focusing on the responses first before I can focus on the website. So they are taking up a lot of our time at the moment. This is why the video is behind, because it is a lot of work to be done, and it's just taking time at the moment. But anyone that wants to be part of this show, they will be to just message us on our Facebook page and let us know what you want to speak about. Don't have to run a company or do anything, you know, be anything special. You just have an opinion and would like to express and talk about that opinion. Rich, you explained it perfectly well how the Awakening Now is going to work, and it's your baby. So do you want to give guys the framework of what we're looking for?
Yeah, basically we want to hear your stories on how you have become, because obviously the people who listen to this stuff are going to be spiritual in some way, interested in the paranormal, UFOs, alternate views, and we want to know why you've come to the opinion you've come to, and your journey getting it, and what you've experienced. Typically, like we just said, flat earth. Anything, religion, doesn't matter your background, atheists, we want to hear what brought your journey, right?
Yeah.
To make you believe in the things you believe in right now. So, yeah, give us your stories, guys.
It doesn't matter what religion you're from.
No, it doesn't matter your background. We don't care. I don't care. Obviously, you know, if you're a Satanist, you can have your say, right? But as long as there's nothing dark on there, we don't want none of that on there. But your opinion, right? If it is, obviously, you know, if you're going to be a bit of an idiot and you're going to be racist or you're going to be in any say, you know, sexist or anything like that, we will obviously take a look at it. I personally want people to see it, right?
Yeah.
I really do. I'm not going to lie to you.
And the point of the show is going to be as well, we are going to discuss it. So, you know, just be aware, if you are going to put your views forward, we will talk to you about, we will be respectful to you.
Yeah.
But obviously, if there's a counter opinion that one of us hold, we will obviously offer our opinion as well. It doesn't mean our opinion is more valid than yours.
Yeah, but well, basically from us, I think it's going to be more just question based.
Yes.
Just prompting the person to give their story.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what I want to hear, their story.
Yes.
That's what I'm interested in. Do you know what I mean? I want to hear your story. So, like I said, we will. You know, if there's something we think maybe it's not really beneficial for you or anybody else, we might judge it. But personally, myself, I want everybody's stories out there, regardless of what they say. I do. I'm not going to lie. I really do.
Don't really want to be a neo-Nazi that just hates black people because they're black.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, I'm interested in why he feels that.
Yeah.
And I think people are. I want to know why he is that way or they are that way. I really want to know. I want to know. That's what I think it's about. It's about your journey. It's the awakening. Because there is an awakening.
Yeah.
And we'll all have to sing to the same hymn.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, right? We're going to have to. If we don't, it's not going to be an awakening.
No.
Right? It's going to be a war. And that's what we don't want. We don't want a war.
No.
Right? We want an awakening. We want everybody's opinions to count. And somewhere along the lines, I believe, and this is one of the reasons that the thinking behind it, we'll find that our stories are so similar, but we're just on the other side of the coin. Yeah. We've taken the same road.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm interested in, and that's what I think will be interesting for people to watch. Maybe. So we'll see. We'll do a couple of trial ones, and hopefully if it picks up, people are interested. Because, you know, obviously we need stories. We've got quite a few lined up, don't get me wrong, we have. But we need stories, guys. So if you know anybody of like alternative, or you think their story be interesting, or your own story's interesting, you know, give them a bell. You know,
Facebook.com/paranormal now. So will be the place to visit and contact us directly. Yes. There will be a way of doing it through the website once the website is established and up. But because of our website follies as of late, it's been a little bit difficult. Thank you very much, guys. This has been a tremendous debate. I know it took 20 minutes to get started because we had a bit of housekeeping to sort out, but it's been absolutely fantastic being with you again. We are doing now Investigations 10 tomorrow, and we are going to be putting more videos up next week and continuing the Cardiff pub. I can't say the name because we've been asked not to at this particular juncture, although we will be able to probably reveal it at some point later on down the line. But we are now hoping that the next part will be up next Friday, and what we might do is try and get maybe 2 of them out next week or something, so there will be videos coming out in the coming weeks. And even though that YouTube has decided to demonetize channels under 1,000 subscribers, we're still going to carry on with creating the videos and doing the rest of it, because we're not just going to be relying on YouTube as a platform. We're going to be doing other things as well, and we're hoping to involve you guys a lot more now in 2018 than we have done in recent years. So thank you very much, guys. I'm Jared Walters.
I'm Richard Oliver,
and we'll see you soon for another Now Debate.
Take care.